Okay, I promised to do a how-to tutorial on making t-shirts while I was making one, and so this is it. Now, if you're going to make your own t-shirt using things like fabric paint, there's essentially three ways you can do it. You can use stencils, which I'm doing in this particular shirt, and there are two different ways you can do stencils. There's the way I did anger, where you put something solid and paint over it so you get a negative image left behind, or you use a stencil template and fill in, as I'm doing with the rest of the words on the page. And you'll see at the end I actually do a little bit of hybrid positive and negative for the final effect. Besides stencils, you could always do it freehand, and if you've seen any of the old videos where my girlfriend's actually doing the lettering for a t-shirt, she does it freehand because she has insanely good lettering skills. I have really bad lettering skills, so I don't usually do it freehand, although I may try it. Another thing you could do is a type of printing. You could use stamps, as in rubber stamps, which so far I found a little bit hard to get. Or you could, if you're a real creative type, you could make something like a woodcut or a lino cut. And I do intend to experiment with that. Now I'm in the mood to experiment with t-shirts. I will be making a few over the coming weeks. If you want to go the whole way, be like semi-pro, you could always go for screen printing. I did check around. I saw screen printing kits for around 100 to 150 bucks in hobby shops. You could probably pay more for one, you could probably pay less for one if you looked really hard. But screen printing is a bit more over the top than what I'm planning to do at the moment. I wasn't planning on outlaying that money. In terms of finding stencils like what I'm using, I recommend just go to hobby shops. Newsagents, I found, are actually quite good for them as well. Even the old $2 shops have a whole bunch of stuff you can use for stenciling. And I think I may experiment with some shapes with stenciling in the future. I think actually the lead up to Halloween there might be some interesting things to make stencils with. The paint I'm using is just fabric paint. It's quite easy to get from hobby shops, craft shops. You just literally paint it on and then you iron it afterwards to make the colour secure. And there's all sorts of colours. Hell, you can even get glitter if you want. I clearly don't have glitter on this one. I'm just going for some basic colours. If you do go in for this sort of thing, one thing you'll find is it can be a bit hard to stop the t-shirt from sliding around while you're doing it, particularly if you're freehanding. That can be a real pain. I remember when I was a kid we had this set of fabric paints that was called Hobby Tex, and they actually had a little thing in there to hold it in place. It's, I don't know how to describe it, it's like a clamp for holding the t-shirt in place when you were making it, when you're putting the paint on. You can get something like that if you want, or you can be like me and be happy with just a simple rough approach to the t-shirt. I quite like the way this came out looking, and so I'm happy for it to have rough edges. But I recommend, if you think this idea is interesting, get out there and experiment, because it should be fun. And this is the final result. I'm pretty happy with it. It's got a crazy handmade look to it that I can sort of go for. Now, before anyone starts saying, wow, I like that too, you should make those and sell those. This is well over an hour's work. I think it was about an hour and a half to make this, and taking into account the cost of materials as well, I'd have to sell it for over $100 to make it worth my while. And I think the market for over $100 t-shirts is pretty slim. Then I'd have to sell 30 of them a week, and I don't think I'd like to make 30 of them a week. I'm going to continue to experiment and probably make a few more ideas that come to head. So no, I'm not going to make them and sell them. I do recommend anyone who's interested, get out and experiment yourself. It's a bit of fun to create, and I shall be creating more. If anyone has a suggestion of a slogan I should put on a shirt, feel free to put it in the comments. And back to the anger real soon now.